Alright, so Florian Wirtz. Everyone has been talking a lot about Wirtz recently, saying that he's a massive flop. And I think it's fair to address this and just have a little bit of a discussion about it. I think Wirtz is obviously a fantastic player. He's come in for a huge fee, and a lot of people are seeing his performances this season and going, he doesn't even look that good, especially obviously rival fans saying that he looks absolutely terrible. I don't think that's the case at all. I think he's actually been pretty good considering the kind of service that he's getting and the kind of areas that he's playing in. I think obviously coming into a new league, especially coming from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, is always going to be a bit of an adaptation as well. He said it himself that it's quite a big adaptation physically and that he's struggling a little bit in terms of just getting up to speed. But I think obviously you've got to give him some time to bed in. We've got a lot of new players in the Liverpool team. And I think overall, when you look at the amount of transition that the whole team is going through and the lethargy that the team seem to be playing with recently, obviously we've been getting away with quite a few results, 3 losses in a row for the last few games, although we didn't win by huge margins, and just a little bit of a lack of urgency about the team in general. And I think a lot of chopping around with different personnel in different formations as well. No real consistency or cohesion with the team really, from what we can tell. The team looks like it's kind of going through a period of transition that we all expected last season. Obviously 6 or 7 new players in the team. I think at least 3 or 4 new players in the starting 11 every single time that we've had a game compared to last season. So I think overall the reason that Wirtz, in my opinion, ultimately isn't flying out of the gates like people are expecting is largely, in my opinion, just due to the fact that he's almost just not really getting the service in the right kind of areas that he did get in the Bundesliga. Obviously in the Bundesliga you probably got an extra yard of space, especially in that kind of 10 position where you can get the ball given to you in behind the midfielders. Generally speaking, we haven't really seen Wirtz getting the ball in those kinds of areas that much. And I think the large part of this that goes into all of this, the biggest part for me is obviously the underperformance of McAllister. I think McAllister obviously still think he's suffering from some kind of injury because he doesn't seem right at all, does he, this season? But the whole team in general not really playing with that kind of urgency, that nice free-flowing, quick football that we have seen for Liverpool. Pre-season we saw some of it, those nice little quick passes in between players, but something just not quite right with Liverpool at the minute. The way that we're playing, the intensity that we're playing with, and just in general the verve of the team that we saw last season just doesn't seem to be there yet this season. As I said, we've got away with results quite a few times this season, winning by a late goal or something like that. But conceding a lot of goals, not looking very solid and cohesive, but also not really playing much good, intricate football, the kind of football that we have seen from Liverpool last season and for so many seasons previously. And just in general kind of having, like I said, that lethargy. There's like a real sluggishness about the football, maybe a little bit of a lack of ideas. Wirtz obviously trying to be played in that 10 role, but having to come deep quite a lot of the time just to get a touch of the ball. Really, you want him to be high up the pitch, in behind the striker, so you can feed the ball into him and then have him play with the forwards in and around that space where he's most dangerous. He created so many opportunities in the Bundesliga for Leverkusen last season in those kinds of areas. We obviously know that's the kind of place that he wants to play, that inside forward left channel area where he really likes to drop into there, receive the ball, lay the ball into the forward or create chances or even score goals for himself. I think mostly the thing that's going on with Wirtz at the minute is that he's just basically not getting the ball in the right areas, and I think that comes down to the whole team as a whole. I think we are creating a fair amount of chances, but they don't seem to be coming through that middle section that much, to be honest. They're mostly coming out from the wide sections of the pitch, from what I can tell from watching our games. We're getting quite a few balls in from wide areas, which are creating some chances. But I don't feel like Wirtz is really getting the service in that kind of pocket that you want to see him receive the ball from. I just keep thinking McAllister, if you've got 4-2-3-1, McAllister and Gravenberch, and then Wirtz is the 10. You've got McAllister and Gravenberch sitting like this, McAllister on the left, Gravenberch on the right. And I'm just thinking that ball that goes into McAllister, can he play it through the lines into Wirtz? We haven't seen anywhere near enough of McAllister and Wirtz linking up in that way in this season so far. Our build-up in general, which is something that Slot actually touched on in the Chelsea press conference after the match when we lost 2-1. He actually touched on this, saying that our build-up has been a bit stunted and a bit weird this season. And he did also touch on saying that it could be potentially because of all the new players we've got. Obviously, we still need to see Kirkes getting bedded in on that left side where he can potentially receive the ball out wide, and then maybe play those diagonal balls into Wirtz quickly into the midfield. There's obviously a lot of different ways that Wirtz can be incorporated into the team. Recently, we've actually had, I think, Slot, desperate to keep Szoboszlai in the team and not drop him for Wirtz, has actually been playing Szoboszlai at right back from what we've seen. We've also seen Wirtz being played as the left winger late on in games as well, to accommodate bringing in more midfielders to try and shore up the midfield, which has looked very, very easy to get at times in this season, in fairness. That lack of solidity across the team has obviously been a problem for Slot this season, and it could be from trying to accommodate Wirtz in there, who is not obviously... defending is not his game at all. He's not really supposed to be in there for defending. He's basically just been put in there to be a really nice creative force. He can obviously defend from the front, press and get after people, but it's obviously not his game to be defending and coming back in and sitting in deep. His role is to be there. The team, the back 6 or 7 players, win the ball back, play the ball into Wirtz, and then he's got forwards with him. He's going to be linking up with forwards, basically playing in Salah, playing in Isak or Ekitike or Gakpo or whoever's on the left wing. But right now, it just doesn't seem like it's working, does it? And my thesis would be, I think we probably have to play him on the left wing for now. I think in terms of solidity, I think we looked a bit more solid player having that Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch midfield against Chelsea. Although they did manage to get in behind those 2 pivots of McAllister and Gravenberch a few times, which obviously led to Caicedo's goal. And just a general, as we seem to have quite a weakness in the fullback areas right now in terms of solidity as well. Konate's obviously not playing great this season, so Bradley's having to do quite a lot of covering work. Obviously, they definitely targeted, Chelsea particularly targeted that right back area, with Bradley there looking not very comfortable with Konate behind him. And in general, just a lack of comfort on the other side as well with Kerkez. Kerkez is, in fairness, I think he's looked a lot more settled in the past few games. But in general, Kerkez has been quite frantic this season. So I think there's a lot of transition going on right now, and I think Wirtz is just coming to terms with that as well. Obviously, in that Chelsea game, it was quite apparent that the link-up play between Salah and Isak is also needing some work as well, because we had quite a few times where Salah had the ball 4 or 5 times, and he didn't find the pass for Isak that he maybe could have done for Isak to have a go on goal, which I also think is why Isak has been underperforming, even though really all these players have only played with each other in professional games for like 5, 6, 7 games. Ekitike, in fairness, looking a lot more settled, but I think it's because he had more of a pre-season. He's been with the squad longer. He's got a bit more of that cohesion compared to Isak. But obviously Wirtz in a bit of a weird position where you want to play him, but it's just not happening for him at the minute. The team, how they're set up right now, are not giving him the ball in those right areas for me, for him to really be dangerous. But I think as he develops that bond with Ekitike and Isak, obviously they need to have that good striker bond. I think we could be looking at Wirtz being a really, really good player. We all know he's an incredible player. You can see it when he's on the ball. He's got a real gliding feel about him. He's got a real finesse. But I think he just needs to settle in, maybe get a bit of the pressure taken off of him. He's actually spoken out a few times himself, I think, about saying he knows he's obviously coming for a big price tag and he wants to perform. But right now he's just working up to getting up to speed with the Premier League and trying to adapt and basically get some cohesion with other players around him. So overall, I think for me, Wirtz right now, I think he's probably got a bit too much defensive responsibilities. I think like Salah last season, you have to kind of leave him a bit further up the pitch, or play him on the left wing and then basically have your 4-3 and then have the 3 up top and then have Wirtz basically as one of the players that has a bit less defensive responsibilities on the left wing. You could play the ball out to him. He could come inside into that left inside pocket channel that he really likes. Play with Isak or Ekitike, Salah on the right hand side as well. Or you play McAllister or Szoboszlai and Gravenberch together, and then obviously have Wirtz as the 10, and then maybe have Ekitike and Isak as the left winger and the striker. Overall, there's lots of things that we could do, but I think, in my opinion, the overreaction to Liverpool and to Wirtz especially, and Isak and a few others actually, I think there's a big overreaction, and overall I think that we're going to be totally fine. Wirtz is going to be totally fine once he's given a bit more time to settle in, find those patterns of play with his teammates, which I think Liverpool in general still haven't found this season in terms of real cohesive, flowing football, which I think is obviously going to make anyone struggle, especially Wirtz, who has quite a specific role, I think. he has that role of just receiving the ball, turning in space, feeding the forwards for goals. I think he can be really good at that if he's utilised correctly. But overall, because Liverpool in general are not looking that cohesive this season so far in terms of defending and attacking, flowing football, passing through the lanes, passing through the spaces, etc. I think it's obviously hurting Wirtz's game as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how we look after the international break. But right now, I don't think there's anything too much to worry about. And overall, I think Wirtz is going to be totally fine once he's given a bit more time to settle in and he finds that little pocket of space that he wants to play in. People start finding him in there. I think it's going to be okay. So let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, I really appreciate you watching. Please do like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Wirtz. Is he going to flop or is he going to hit the ground running soon after the international break? Maybe. And I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.